to address that Craig was having inappropriate sexual relations outside of their marriage. She was told it was her fault. Craig was seeing other girls, and she needed to pay attention to her husband.
Okay, so Tracy is saying that basically Mia went to Lynette and told her Craig is having an affair. And then she turned back around and told her, this is your fault. And let me just tell you something. If you have someone that's an addict in your life, a sexual addict, an alcoholic addict, any type of addicts, people that are out of control, it is not your fault that they're behaving this way.
Brother John, there's so many moving parts here. So if you can remember, kind of take apart what we just saw, and that was from your channel. What did we just learn from that clip?
Yeah, this is, I like to say the fact is the matter is that this is the fact is that Kenneth and Lynette Hagin have admitted that Mia came to them first. And then what they did was they went to Craig, and Craig says, I'm innocent. I didn't do nothing wrong. And so they say that they believed him, and they were totally duped. That was the idea, that they were totally blindsided by this. But they've admitted it, that Mia did go to them. And so it gives a lot of validity to what Tracy is saying, is that, I wasn't in that conversation, but, they admit that they've been talking to Mia. And Mia, of course, is the beautiful wife that has this guy involved with all this allegations right now. So that's my perspective on it. And
so really, it's not just a matter of allegations of...
No, it's not. They've admitted it now. That's what this whole... If you can take anything away from this show, is knowing the word of faith and knowing about the power of confession and how you never speak anything negative. If you're in this movement, you never say nothing negative, or you say you're not feeling well, you're going to get sick. If you say you're broke, you're going to be in poverty. That's what makes this whole thing so humongous, that they've gone on to accuse their son and say they've seen the evidence and they say it's true and he's been living a double life. That's what it really is. I don't believe we've gotten to the bottom of exactly what's going on with Craig, but I think it's worse than what we've actually know. That's what my perspective is.
Well, I wanted to kind of introduce...
How could it be worse, though? You're probably saying because of what's come out already, but that's my perspective.
I can think of a way it can be worse, and I think this little clip might help us understand that just a little bit. I'm going to play this one.
Some of his phone messages got released to the media, and the media is reporting that these text messages are authentic, but we're going to see this text message about Craig Hagin from his buddy here on the things they were up to. So you will see here at the top, his buddy Jackson, be careful from what I've learned. You don't want to get caught up. So then he says, I was leaving Mar-a-Lago with a group of people and we were going to some club. Craig Hagin was with me. He was in one car and I was in the other. A guy from Texas was with me and offered me Coke in the car. And I was like, that's not my thing. Ha, ha, ha. And we ended up at a strip club at like 1 a.m. and I took an Uber and left the group behind. So this is just a little indication of the company that Craig keeps and the activities that he's offered. They're going to Mar-a-Lago because they're big MAGA people. And by the way, I'm a conservative Republican on this channel through and through. But like a lot of these MAGA people are a cult. I'm a fan of President Trump, but here they are acting like teenagers.
Brother, comment.
Well, I'm trying to keep a head on what has been publicly alleged because, that's in the newspaper about being with Craig at strip clubs and the allegations of drug, cocaine. Like, as somebody that works with addictions, I'd love to say if you're struggling with addictions, get help today. Drugs are so toxic with fentanyl. The first thing I thought about was I've done too many funerals and had hundreds of people I know die in their addictions. So always reach out to get help and never use cocaine, ever. Never use street drugs, ever, because they're toxic. And we're in a crisis right now. So there's my perspective on that. So I hope Craig's not using drugs, but there's been allegations that have come out. And, so that's where we're at on that.
Yeah, I found video from.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the allegations of the strip club, if those prove true, I'll ask you a question, Everett.
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of pastor would go into a strip club? I'm still trying to comprehend the gravity of these texts. Can you explain that to me? I don't understand.
Yeah, a word of faith, Pastor. No, a complete and total fake, a complete and total phony, a heretic, somebody that needs to be run out of. It should never, ever, 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 ever be in the ministry ever. And then let's just, for your and I's sake, let's say that everything that we're going to talk about tonight is alleged, and entertainment. But as far as now, this Jackson Lohmeyer fella, didn't he have to admit to an affair, and that's why he pulled out of that Senate race?
Well, interesting enough with Jackson, he's deleted his Twitter account, and a lot of his accounts have gone black. And the thing to be honest with you, I looked up Jackson's website. He's got a picture of these beautiful kids, and he's got a beautiful family. And then splashed all over the internet are pictures or text messages, him in an adulterous sex affair, prostitutes, or I should say strip clubs, and cocaine. Like, it's an absolute catastrophe. And that was Craig's number one best friend. They were hanging out together. So, you got to be careful the company you keep. And obviously it's all being exposed right now in the news.
You got to be careful the company you keep. And this is something that we're dealing with in America. And I don't know how many people realize we're dealing with this, but it said, where were they coming from when they were on their way to the strip club, allegedly? From Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I could play the video. I went and grabbed it, but do you bring a guest on, or do you play video so the guest can't speak all in the program? But this Jackson Lohmeyer that has a church in Tulsa, but last year he was all about, now simmer down, about people that were critical of Paula White in the faith office at the White House.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But my point is that these are the people that are trying to represent the body of Christ and Christianity to the executive branch of our government. Mm-hmm. These are the people that are they are licking their chops to get an invitation to anything that the faith office does. And we're supposed to be applauding the fact that we've basically got witches in the White House, mm-hmm. and heretics representing us to President Trump.
Yeah, so I'm Canadian, but my parents are American. They live in Colorado. And I've said for years now that Paula White, the people involved with this network, the Mooney cult, is a physical manifestation of a spiritual reality in the United States. I believe it's almost as if atheists are more upset that Paula White is your spiritual advisor. And you have so many pastors defending her, where and it's like a spiritual cancer on the United States until they get better leaders in there, to represent true Christians. It's a disaster. And having Craig Hagin and Lamar and if you look into who's actually in that faith council, it's pretty scary.
It is pretty scary. It is pretty scary. I'd like to do this. And I've only got you. You're on a short leash time wise. And by the way, you're in Mexico, so we appreciate that. I'm gonna try this if we can make it work. And I realize this is a little bit laborious, but what I'm trying to point out to the audience, Brother John, is just some of the dynamics of how nasty this is.
Okay.
Maybe I'm doing this wrong. So you had a guest on your program, Tracy Chapman.
Yes, twice.
And can you tell us, like, how does she fit into the storytelling of all this?
Well, Tracy is on the warpath, and she has just gone full into this. She was actually attending Rhema all the way up until this hit, and So she is definitely on top of the situation, and I don't know. She's been on my channel. You'd have to go back, listen to my video.
Well, here's what I want people to understand. What I am clicking through is an informative PDF. I think it's 120 pages, John. It's a lot. Okay. And on the screen here, it's just too small for me to read, but I am going to read a portion of it that I kind of blew up. But in the description of this YouTube video, I believe it's the first link. If you go there right now, it's the first link. And I would say if anybody is really audacious enough to try to wrap their head around the dynamics and the complexity and unfortunately the nastiness of what is going on, oh my gracious, then go, and if you click that link, it'll take you to Tracy's website, and it should already be on the page where you can access this PDF and download it and a lot of other things, because Brother John, she does her homework, man. She's like, she got a lot of information, right?
Well, I think thing about Tracy is that she's a professional and she is an advocate. So she is, if you look at, I wish I had her resume. It's like 50 times bigger than mine, where she works with, this is what she does. She's an advocate. She works with people that are being harmed, with SA, church hurt, and was like a team leader of like a whole, she's like a really big resume. And that's why I had her on my program, is because she's very trauma informed and recognizing that these are real people that are hurting. Craig, of course, if you're unaware, has had people like Greg Locke show support for him on social media. People like Jonathan Shuttlesworth show support for Craig. And it's a power differential where he has the microphone. He's the anointed, triple anointed guy. Well, what about Mia? Right? Mia is the wife, right? And so what Tracy's doing is being an advocate to have his wife speak. There's a fundraiser as well. Go ahead.
What? Greg Locke, he's had Greg Locke and other people speak up in support of him.
Yes.
Since this scandal broke, like in the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
No, what they've done is it's with my last live stream. So Craig Hagin, I could pull it up. Craig Hagin, if you want, I could show it to you. It might take me a few minutes, but Craig Hagin posted, and then Greg Locke in the comment section, and then on Twitter, Jonathan Shuttlesworth. Do you want me to pop that up? It'd take 2 seconds.
Go ahead. I don't even know how you do that when you're a guest. Then you can teach me. I want to learn.
Well, I'm in Mexico, so it looks like my computer is a little bit slower than usual. So hopefully if it works, I'm just trying to do it now. If it does come through, oh, here it is. Okay, so here's Craig. And yeah, I can do that right now. This is Craig Hagin. This is the fastest one I could do. And so I'm going to pull that up onto the screen right now.
I didn't know you could do that.
Can you put that on the screen?
You're gonna have to tell me how to do that. I don't even know how to do check.
All right, I'm using a laptop. So here it is, your Craig.
That's cool. Yeah.
And this is Craig Hagin's official. You can see the blue check mark. And of course, Steve has put on Missy's allegations. But if you script down, or forgive me, if you go to, let me go to replies. Replies. This is the official Jonathan Shuttlesworth. And he's posted a cartoon saying, let me see if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Craig Hagin, love you and praying for you. And the point of that is that why is Jonathan saying that he loves Craig Hagin and praying for him when Mia is the wife filing for divorce for adultery? And Craig, of course, says, thanks, man. It's been a crazy week. Love you too. So this is when this all broke in the news.
So it's just, so when it's coming out that they've allegedly, entertainmentally, have 20 plus years in a marriage where they have been a serial unfaithfulist, you've been a serial womanizer.
Living a double, that's what they said, living a double life. That's what the Hagins have said.
And it's a crazy week, man. It's crazy. Yeah. This is just disgusting. I'm coming off of an assignment that's really had all my attention, and I really feel like, John, that like for this story, I wish I had like 3 days to just absolutely nothing else than just get over or get on top of every little detail, because it's so,
Right.
and I haven't been able to do that. But oh my God. But see, it's not surprising, because that's exactly what Jonathan Shuttlesworth would do. It's you always suck up to the machine. You never, ever speak against the family. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah. And I don't know if it's on the screen. I'm using a laptop, but you can see there's a lot of pastors. Like Craig, since this broke in the news, we've also had him preaching inside of another church, not Rhema, but like a sister church.
What?
Yes. Since this all broke in the news, he's still, and I personally believe, and I tell your viewers that I believe that Craig will always have a place in some churches. They don't care to know the truth because he's a triple anointing. That's their spiritual reality. So I'm just looking for, it's on here somewhere, but there's like thousands of comments. But Greg Locke is on here somewhere. Anyways, you can keep going.
Well, and see, this is what's so disgusting.
There it is here. Am I on the screen?
Yes,
okay,
you are.
You can see on the screen. So to your viewers, Pastor Greg Locke, of course, this is after everything is broken. Craig was fired out of Rhema. The allegations that come out, they say that there's more going on other than the abuse of the dogs. This is what Pastor Greg Locke says. I love and appreciate you, my friend. It takes courage to step back in order to move forward. God has used you greatly, and the hand is upon you. What people say about it is irrelevant. The chatter doesn't matter. Be blessed, get some rest, have some fun, make some memories, and I stand with you. Pastor Greg Locke. Can you imagine?
No.
2.2 million followers. That's just incomprehensible to me.
This is just like the prophets of Baal all lining up together.
Yeah, so they don't. It's a boys' club.
If I knew how to do what you just did, which I don't know how to do, and I'm not going to risk it, I could go over. I could go over to Amanda Grace's page.
Okay, I'll pull this off the screen.
This really, really shocked me. Her Facebook page, and she's posting, praying for. What's the guy's name? Lawmeyer. What's his first name?
Oh, really? Well, you have
Lawmeyer.
That's an interesting dynamic. You're an American, so the faith office is like an entity in itself. The no-hide laws, and so much is going on with that, where you have happening in the United States. I'm not an expert, but there is definitely a political divide, and there are people calling for, like, I don't know if I can say insurrection. Like, that's what there's a lot of crazy people online right now that are ready for like the next civil war. And, it's a powder keg waiting to go off. And then you have that spiritual aspect of Paula White and Amanda Grace and Greg Locke and the rest of them. Well, they can spiritualize it and say, God told me this or that. It is an incredible time to be alive, for sure.
Can I tell you what they would find? If they went to Amanda Grace's page, pretty recently on her Facebook page, it would say praying for Jackson or for the Lawmeyer family. Now, interestingly enough, even though Amanda went to college to be a hedge fund accountant, I guess spelling isn't her strong point, because Lawmeyer is actually spelled Lahmeyr, and they spelled it Lawmeyr. But here's the thing. What is your first priority? If you want to pray for Jackson Lawmeyer, okay, but maybe how about this? What about rebuking Jackson Lawmeyer for being an adulterer and being a fake and a phony and being an absolute wicked, sinful influence that we don't want anywhere near the American White House? And what really shocks me is whether it's Shuttlesworth that you brought to our attention, or Greg Locke that you brought to our attention, or Amanda Grace, who I'm pretty sure is female. Where is the concern for the female victims?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other one, is that, when it comes to pornography and escorts and strip clubs, a lot of these girls are sex trafficked, and they brought into it you know, I grew up in Vancouver on the streets, and if your viewers are unaware, I wrote a book called The Street. I had 22 criminal convictions and sentenced to 6 years in prison. I joined a gang when I was a young man and worked with people on the street that are involved with organized crime. And the end of it is that all of that is Satan, all right? And the manipulation of women, they're using them. And even that's why it's disgusting. This whole entire scenario is it's incomprehensible to me. Craig is in the midst of all this, as well as your politician Lawmeyer. And I'm praying for all of them. And people are escaping. There's freedom in Christ Jesus. And hopefully Craig will just go live a quiet life, and we won't have to do any more videos. And we're praying for not only, we're praying for Lawmeyer's family as well as Mia and her family. Her sister has been an advocate as well. I appreciate Missy, her sister. You know, they all have beautiful families, kids and families, and they're caught up in the news. It's all over the place. It's got to be hard for them to get through all of this. So,
yeah. I am very, very thrilled and very thankful to have had my dear brother, John Elving on, and I really appreciate him bringing a lot of perspective to this story. Folks, this story it ain't going away, and we ain't heard the last of it. We ain't got to the bottom of it yet. And so I'm going to jump off here, and just remember, I'll go back to my own slide, The real fireworks start on July 5th, right here on Ohio for Freedom. If you would like to be a blessing to the program, you can certainly do so by going to ohioforfreedom.com and take advantage of our PayPal link, our bank card link, our Zelle link, and our P.O. Box is Ohio for Freedom, Post Office Box 344, Mason, Ohio 45040. Folks, until next time, God bless you. God bless your family, the state of Ohio, from whence we originate, the United States of America, and we send our greetings to our friends around the world. Good night, y'all.